where we solve all the problems for the Black and Puerto Ricans of the world.
No, we don't.
This is what we do. We are magical. We are the answer. No, welcome everybody. Glad you can join us. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get a book done that I've been trying for years upon years, it seemed, about the relationship between a father and a daughter, and just being a parent, a father. Mm-hmm. Always found that it was kind of difficult to find inspiration to write a book about fathers, because you don't hear about a lot of Black or Latino fathers that get the credit that they deserve, in my mind, mm-hmm. for being a father. What we get scrutinized for is not being in a child's life, which is not right, which is totally wrong, and it's a myth, and it's a myth that was brought on to basically, I think, weaken our community, our Black and Latino community. Because if you keep telling people that there's not a father in the household, mm-hmm. that makes people on the outside think that that's one of our biggest problems. And it also creates an image of us as men, okay. as not being responsible for the children that we make, or be responsible for being the head of the household and you know, being a big figure in our children's life.
Why is that?
I think because of who we are in this country and how we're perceived in this country. Funny shit, you were telling me the other day that they were calling Puerto Ricans coming over here from Puerto Rico immigrants, right? Wasn't it immigrants?
Migrants.
Migrants, mm-hmm. right? Which I understand, because if you migrate, if you migrate from another place, I mean, shit, if you migrate from New York to Phoenix, Arizona, you're migrating because you're migrating from someplace to another. But I didn't think it was meant in that connotation. I think it was meant to say that these people that are part of America is somehow not part of America. You know, you call somebody an immigrant, a migrant, or whatever, it again, mm-hmm. like the father thing, it gives a negative connotation on the people you're talking about, right? If you listen and you see the statistics that they come out with, which has always been a crazy thing to me, because statistics, I'm asking a question, right? If you have a percentile of a certain thing, a certain group of people, right? If you say 35-50% of Black and Latino fathers are not in the household, my question to you, who the fuck did you go and try to get this message from? Did you go through did you talk to every single Black and Latino family? Or did you talk to some and they said, well, no, the father's not here. You talk to 10 and you say, okay, that's 50%. We're going to put 50%
so
on
that. Okay, my question is this. So
I have no idea. I know what you're going to ask me. Go ahead.
Okay.
No, ask the question.
So what do they do? They take surveys?
That's the thing. I have no idea how they come up with this percentage. Mm-hmm. I don't know whether they take it from the Welfare Bureau, where they say this many Black and Latino women have filed for welfare, okay. or some kind of assistance, mm-hmm. and they use that as a modifier to say, okay, if 50%. It's a 50 percentile of Latino and Black women coming in for social services, right? Okay. We're going to assume that that's 50% of the population of Black and Latino people in the country. Mm-hmm. That is insanity to me.
Right.
I know so many Black and Latino men who are fathers.
Right.
And just because a person divorces or breaks up with someone if they're not married and have children, and that father is still a participant, still a father in that child's life, mm-hmm. he's not absentee.
Right, but we can...
He's present.
Right.
He's just not married to the person that he had the child with.
Yeah. I mean, I really like... Right. Yeah, you're right. I understand what you're saying. Uh-huh. I understand. I think, and I can only say this because I'm a mom, You know, I can only talk about my experience.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and also know friends and families who, and I'm so thankful that I've met so many families who the fathers have always been in their children's life.
Yeah,
you know,
me too.
Some apparent reason, it's got to be God's grace, but I was just so happy to see that and have that in my life growing up as a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think it's important that we do talk about that, you know, because there's some of us, and I can only talk about some of us who are there, that there are some great fathers out there who are looking out for their daughters and their sons.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I was so gifted, like, how can I say, I was so blessed, let's say blessed, that I had good friends, you know, and good families who really love their children. And I just don't understand why I keep hearing this, that like blacks or Hispanic are not in the presence of their children's life. And again, there are percentage of those who are not, right, and there are percentage of those that are there.
But don't you think that the percentage of those who are there is higher than the percentage that they present, right? It's the norm as opposed to the exception, right?
Well,
I truly believe that most of our fathers are if not in the household, in the child's life. And I think the perception that they give us is to somehow make us look and feel different than the average white American. And that's what I'm saying. And that's what I've been saying that for the longest time, since I was young, because I kept hearing this, right? And though my father died when I was young, when I was 13 years old, he was in my life for all of my life. He was a dad.
Okay.
And he was a husband.
Now, when you say
and he was a loving
say he's a dad because he trained you about life.
Of course.
You know, he spoke to you about life, and he's your very first role model. You know, that's your father figure,
right?
Where it's going to help you and teach you how to become a good husband and a good father.
You know what happens with that too?
And a grandfather.
I never, right? And for all of us men, you know, black and Latino men, when we got that father, and like I said, mine died young, and he died when I was very young. But because of who he was, I never had to look for a role model. You understand what I'm saying? I never had to go and say, okay, I'm going to pick up a book. I didn't have a father. How do I become a man? Right? Or I'm going to look outside and try to find somebody else to be a father figure to me, right? What a blessed thing that is, where I didn't have to find role models. I didn't look at a actor, a politician, or someone I saw on TV to inspire me. I was inspired from a young age. And this is what fathers and mothers do. They inspire. If we are fathers and mothers and we go out here and we teach our kids everything that they need to do, right? Give them great advice, right? Life experience advice, right? Our kids don't have to find, well, Jesus, I'm lost.
Yeah.
You know?
But I have to speak about the other side, fathers who are not in their daughter's life.
Right.
You know,
and that's what the book is about for me too. It's almost somebody just saying, you know, you're idiots.
And I'm gonna get personal, because I can talk about a father who's never been in a daughter's life. Because I come from that experience. And the funny thing is that, there are fathers who are not in their daughter's life, meaning they're not in their presence, or they're just not there for them. Because, you know, some of them, again, this is my opinion, people. I'm not here to disrespect anyone. So please forgive me from what I'm about to say. But there are some fathers who weren't meant to be fathers. And so they go off, and then they have other families when they become much older, and they forget about that child that they had when they were young. And then you have fathers that are in the presence in the daughter's life, but are not fathers, if you understand what I'm saying. They're just not.
They're not present.
They're not disciplining them, and they're not. Let's put it this way: from the relationship that I came with my dad, he was sick, There was, you know, he was a very sick,
Of course.
he was mentally ill, he was a very sick man.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't a dad for me. I had to learn from watching television,
Mm-hmm.
sadly to say. I come from that life where I had to learn what love is. You know, where can I learn how to see a man love a daughter? And sadly to say, I had to learn some of the family, you know, how they treat each other through television. Because I come from an era where everything was silent and it was a taboo to speak about your family.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and it's sad, you know. And yeah, my mom was in welfare and everything, you know, and but again, my father was at the house, but he wasn't a dad. He just wasn't, you know. He wasn't a father, you know.
Yeah, but it happens though. But you know, the thing we were talking about, me and Belle were talking about this the other day, and we started talking about when I first. She asked me a question. I forgot what question you asked me. I think it was how you feel when you first saw our daughter Megan. Right?
Yeah, no, it was about the relationship when how did you feel when you first, you know, like for example, you know, it's important for a father, a man, let's just say for example, who is, you know, married and has a wife who's pregnant.
Yeah,
you know, and the question
that's
was,
right.
I wanted to ask you, and I asked my husband, honey, were you there for your ex-wife, you know, doctor's visit? Were you there? Did you shop for her?
Mm-hmm.
Did you take good care of her?
Right.
Because that will tell what kind of father you're going to be.
Of course. And my answer was, I was there for everything because it was such an exciting time for me, you know, with my son and my daughter. It was such an exciting time, especially with my son, because he was the first. So I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know anything. I was 20-something years old, so I had no idea what was going to happen, right? I just knew I had never been through this experience before in my life. So you talk to my ex-wife, she'd probably say I was too much involved because I was worried about everything. What you eating? How you doing? What's the water? You know, I was that bugged out. And once Nathaniel was born, it got even worse because now I got a whole person in my hand. You know, I have no idea how to deal. And I was blessed again. And I'll tell anybody, I've lived a blessed life because I've come into contact with so many good people. My mother-in-law, right, taught me and my ex-wife so much about raising a child because she was there for the first 2 years of Nathaniel's life. And unfortunately, she passed away after his second birthday. But she taught us everything. She showed us stuff. I asked questions, she answered, or I didn't even have to ask the question. She would just tell me stuff. Now, this is a man who says, I don't know, you know, and was blessed with the fact that he was around somebody who did. And I listened, and I learned how to be a father. Because anybody who would come on, come in anyone's face and say, they were ready to be a father or they were ready to be a mother before they ever had a child, right? Is lying.
Yeah.
You have no idea.
Yeah.
Because as a child, you only know, what you're going through yourself. When your child gets a cold, right? Their nose is stuffy, they're coughing. You don't know what to do in the beginning simply because you've never been through it. So what's the best thing to do, right? Is be blessed with someone who has gone through it. You know, you experienced the same thing though with your mother-in-law, right? And I think that is a blessing that me and you both shared.
Yeah,
is that your mother-in-law was just like my mother-in-law.
She took care of me.
And she loved us.
Yeah, she took, and it's funny because when I went to live with the three boys' dad, I was just a baby. I was probably 19 or 20 when I first had my first child, and she took me in. She of course, she was a mother to me. She was just, I learned everything from her. You know, she taught me how to raise my kid. You know, she taught me how to, how to feed my child. You know, and of course, I will admit I wasn't ready to have a child, but I did have my child. Yeah, I did, but I had my baby too young.
Right.
But yeah. So again, it was very hard when you don't have, your father there, and
It is.
me being that
Must be.
me being that daughter. I went through a lot with him, but it didn't stop me from being a good mom.
But you know what? Let me ask you this question, right?
Yeah.
Because you had, what was your mother's name?
Genevieve.
Genevieve,
Rest
right?
in peace.
And mine was Joyce, right? Because you had her, doesn't that somehow not negate so much, because you're always going to have the experience of having your mother and father, and if that wasn't correct, you carry that with you forever.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You carry it with you forever, right? But when those good people come into your life, and she, of course, she wasn't the only good person that you've ever encountered.
I had a whole bunch of aunts and uncles,
Right.
and sisters and brothers.
You will never forget the neglect of a parent. But the people that love you and take care of you, right, makes it tolerable.
Yeah.
It lets you move forward, right? And that's what I want to tell the people too. Everybody doesn't come from my background. Right. Everybody doesn't have that loving mother and father and whatnot. For even a short time I had my dad, and it seems like my mother died at 91. It seems like a short time too, but still, that's because I loved her so much, right? Even if you don't have that, please embrace the people that come into your life and love you, right? Like I said, it'll never take away, right, the hurt that you feel from a neglected parent, right? But it makes it easier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It makes it easier.
Yeah, and I just want to conclude something, and it's very hard. No improvisation today.
That's all we're doing now.
We're
We're talking off the hip.
Yeah, I'm talking from raw. I really want to address how important it is to be forgiving.
Of course.
Be forgiving, and when we get older, we mature, we become more wiser. And I say this because it's important that we continue loving those who neglect us. And we have to remember that the parents that we were born from, we always want that ideal parent. We want that perfect parent. We want that person to love us. We want our parents to always be there for us. But I had to learn that that's not the important thing, We have to understand and accept the parent that we were born with, and learn that we are the ones, some of us, if we have that gallon of milk, that full gallon, that love that you have inside of you that your parents don't have, because their gallon is not a full gallon, if you understand what I'm trying to say. They're just a pint, let's just say. It's okay. Because their love is because that's who they are. And we don't know what their childhood was. So therefore, we know that we want all that love. So why not embrace who we are, and why not say, I'm going to be better than my parents, but I'm still going to love them, and I'm going to forgive them. Because that's who they are. We will never know what they went through as children, And I only can talk to, about myself growing up in the 60s and 70s, how hard it was, how difficult it was. And I'm very thankful that I'm able to, I think my calling was, of course, to help others, to encourage others. That's always been my life. And so I say this, Puerto Rican and Black, that, we all have a lot of complexity, a lot of molding that we all need to do. But as long as we stay focused and just stay positive,
And I agree. And the greatest thing that we can do as parents is teach. The greatest thing that my father told me before he passed away, and me and my brother and my sister, is, especially me and my brother, is be better than me. And I think that's the greatest thing you can probably ever tell your child. Because if you're a good parent and you tell your child who loves you to death to be better than you, he or she will. They will be better than you, and they will raise their children to be the best people that they can possibly be. And you know what the thing is? Like a domino effect, it goes from generation to generation. But let your domino effect be something great.
Yep.
Let it be good.
Yep.
Don't leave a legacy of bad stuff.
Yeah.
Leave a legacy of good stuff that can be passed on to your great grandchildren.
Yeah.
Keep your lineage great.
Yeah. And anyway, here we are, people.
Pretty soon we're going to start playing some jazz at the beginning because, again, I keep telling my wife, right, this is Puerto Black, not Puerto Rican, right? We got to hear some jazz. Or we got to hear some Marvin Gaye.
Excuse me.
We got to hear. Can I just say something? Let me just say something before we end, right? Speaking of music, and I want everybody that's probably our age. I'm in my 60s, she's however old she is. Right, however old she is, right? But the thing is this. I want you guys to do something. Those in the late 50s or whatever. Listen to What's Going On by Marvin Gaye, Soulville by Isaac Hayes, Push Your Man by Curtis Mayfield. And I want you guys to do something for me. Listen to the lyrics of what they say. You tell me something, right? What has changed? And these songs came out in the early 1970s, right? And I want you guys to listen to those lyrics and ask yourself, what has changed since then? And on the next podcast, we're going to talk about that.
Okay, people. Hasta la vista, baby.
Oh, that was that. Oh, Ma, come on. You can do better. That old Arnold Schwarzenegger crap. Later. Peace.
Focus on what you love. Let that be your 90% focus. And then the 10%, your worries. So that's what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
No, but that makes sense. You know, really, you gotta go through
The
that
drama.
That drama, right?
You know, don't give up. Keep trying your best. It's not easy. It's easy to work 9 to 5, but it's not easy to create. So stay focused. Just stay focused because it's not hard. I mean, I'm sorry, it's not easy. It's a very hard, you know, thing to do when you have an idea and you have this passion.
You mean to be creative and do something outside of a 9 to 5?
Yeah, I just said that.
No, you didn't.
You know, so
It was kind of obscure what you were saying.
so because of, you know.
You're gonna see a big dog come through sooner or later. If he doesn't knock down our camera, then we have to reshoot again.
Exactly.
He's scratching his head.
So please, Max, be good. Okay. So yeah.
Yeah, what? You ain't say nothing.
He's about to bump into that tripod.
No, he
Can you come over here closer? Get away from the tripod. Come on, Max. Get away from that
Here he
tripod.
comes, folks.
Be good. Be
This
good.
is our big crazy man.
Go lay down.
That's Max. He's trying to lick your mama.
Go lay down. Thank you.
Nope, he said he's gonna sit here and be part of the show.
Okay, he's sitting on my toes.
What was you gonna say now? Seriously.
Well,
we go
we're
put on
home.
some-
Let's relax. It took me hours to put everything.
Yeah,
up.
no, I was sitting waiting.
So but it's okay. I'm okay.
You okay?
I'm okay. You okay?
I'm good.
Oh, boy.
You know me, I'm always good.
Just go ahead.
I'm always good.
Go ahead, baby.
We want you guys to really enjoy the show. And we hope that I wish I knew what my wife was doing, but that's all right.
I'm trying to fix your shirt.
Why?
Your little string.
This is not fashion because I can go up there and put on a suit.
You know what? Have you seen that show back in the day? And her name was Popa. Remember Popa?
I don't know who the hell that is.
Popa.
I don't know who that is, man. It sounds like a fucking potato. Oh no, I don't know who the hell. No, I damn sure don't know who that is.
She used to smack people with her purse.
No, I miss that one.
Bye.
Later.